Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Entrepreneurial Truth Podcast. My guest today is Julie Scott, and Julie is a pro-age health and life coach, author, speaker, and founder of It's About Time, Baby Coaching. I love that. She is addicted to helping women change their stories around what they can and can't do at any age. She helps them identify and get out of the rut they are stuck in and into an inspiring, fun-filled, and adventurous life that they've been craving. Fueled by her passion for health and fitness, Julie incorporates healthy lifestyle teachings into her coaching so her clients can embrace a vibrant life at any age. In her new book, It's About Time, It's About You, published in October 2019, part memoir, part self-help guide, Julie shares her own journey of waking up in her 40s to a lukewarm life and an overwhelming feeling of, is this all that there is? She took a magnifying glass to her life to identify her old limiting no I can't beliefs and shares how she's replaced them with powerful yes I can beliefs and freed herself to live her best life ever. Julie, welcome to the show.
Oh my God, I sound amazing. Thank you for reading all of that about me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're seeing, I love this because I just turned 50.
Huh?
So it's like, I mean, I'm just right in that vibe with you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I really believe too. I mean, just think of how much wiser you are now in life. I mean,
no, I'm just kidding. I don't know about all that. I mean,
experience, wisdom.
Yeah,
it's all good. So
it is.
But thanks for having me.
I really appreciate you being here. I really do. So can you tell us a little bit more about what you do?
Sure. I am a life coach, and I don't know if even everyone knows what that is, but life coaching really deals with where you want to go, not like therapy that kind of, focuses on where you've been. So it's about where you want to go. And I love working with mature women to help them figure out, maybe the next stage of their life, what that next act is going to be, or just why they feel so blah in their life. They don't, you know what I mean? It's like, I think more than anything else, those are the people that tend to migrate to me.
It's under their own terms too. From what I see from you, I just see this energy and this vibrant life all in you. And I see we have a special guest too.
Sorry.
No, we're not going to apologize for that. And who is your special guest
here? This right here, I don't know if you can see him. He can't. He's right there, but he's right there. His name is Spencer. He's one of my two cats, and he loves to be the center of attention. So
that's okay. So do I. But I'm just kidding. No. Another question I have for you is, what lit the fire for you to become an entrepreneur? What got you going on the inside to say, hey, this is what I want?
Well, it's so funny. I think like so many of the people that you've interviewed in the past, it wasn't something that I ever was burning to do. I never really thought, oh, I want to have my own business. It was more of a calling. It was like, I woke up in my own life in my, mid 40s, and I was like, is this all there is? I mean, it was just like, it took me a long time to really tackle what was going on with me, because I didn't really have anything traumatic happened to me. I was like, yeah, just suck it up and you've got a good life. Shut up about it, but I still felt like there was something missing. And I ended up working with a life coach, even though I didn't know what the heck a life coach was before I worked with the gal Morgan that I worked with. But just within one session of her holding a space for me where I could become like a seeker or an investigator in my own life to figure out what was running me and what stories I was telling myself, what beliefs I have, I started recognizing that what she was doing was kind of something along the lines of what I've always done for friends and colleagues. I've always been that person that someone could talk to and get non-judgmental advice from. I can listen, I can be open, I can be easygoing about it. And rather than making you feel bad about it, I can just kind of ask you a few questions. So in a sense, I feel like I'd always been kind of life coaching, but I didn't really know what it was. So in working with her, I started to notice that maybe this might be something that I could do even if just for a side thing. And that's really what it was for about 3 years, was a side thing. So I don't know. Do you know that in life coaching, I mean, there's certifications to become a life coach, but technically you don't need to be certified
Yep,
to be a
absolutely,
life
you
coach.
don't.
And it was funny because what ended up happening after a conversation with her, I said, you know what? I think I'd like to be a life coach. Not to quit my job, but I think I'd like to be a life coach. And I literally looked at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I'm a life coach. And
Yes.
something happened in me. And it's like at the gym over the next couple of weeks, I just kind of played around with talking about it to people. And within like 2.5, 3 weeks, this woman's like, I'd like to hire you. I'm like, what? And then it just started. And it just started happening. And then just doing something that I absolutely love, it just started to grow. And I was like, oh my God, I have a side business now, a life coaching business. And then I did end up going and getting certified because I wanted to know what I didn't know. But it was really just it just sort of happened. I know that sounds so weak, but it's totally what happened.
No, it doesn't at all. Because sometimes that's what happens to us. We just fit into something that we love and we're like, oh man, this is me. This is just me,
Yeah.
And I feel so much positive energy from you. It's incredible the amount of good vibes you give off. I'm just letting you know.
Thank you. And it's funny because now that I'm doing, because well, I'll let you ask me questions, but it's like I was only doing it part-time for a long time. And then just recently I went full-time into it. And I just feel alive.
Amazing.
Like,
Yeah,
I do.
I can tell.
I'm the
I feel
coolest
it from
person I've
here.
ever worked for.
I hope you don't get fired. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Okay, but being serious now, is there anything that's kind of held you back, like roadblocks, either internal or external, on your journey to the full-time entrepreneurship?
Oh my God. Right here.
Yeah, the
It's
number
all,
one enemy of entrepreneurship is in the mirror.
I am the most convincing person that I know. I think for me, more than anything else, it was that overwhelming feeling of who am I to tell anyone what to do? It's not like my life is rosy and perfect and all of
Right.
that. And so that was a huge roadblock. Of course, the fear of the financial security was another huge roadblock that I kind of put up for myself. So it's always that fear. It's like what are people going to think of me? Am I going to be successful? And through continually working with coaches all along the way, that was really the thing that helped me kind of get over the hump and just say, you know what? Why not now? Why not now?
No better time than now.
Yeah. Well, a
I
couple
mean,
of years
especially.
ago,
Oh,
go
sorry.
ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, a couple of years ago, I moved from Los Angeles out to Palm Springs, and technically live in Cathedral City. And that was my first move but I was still working at my previous job, but now working remotely. So that was like my first little baby step to thinking, okay, maybe someday I could, work for myself, but it still seemed really far away, like 5-7 years out. But that was the first step at that, again, but I still had the roadblocks of the fear of the financial security more than anything else. But I made little steps along the way to kind of convince myself.
I think it's working. So I want to ask you this. I kind of did some research, which is not normal for me. And I'm just kidding. And I was looking at when you said that you at 50 was in a bikini competition. You just took life by the horns and just said, you know what? I'm going to make this the best life I can possibly make it. You woke up in your mid 40s and you said, is this all there is? And I know there's a lot of people that feel that way. What did you do to transform yourself into who you wanted to be rather than where you were?
Well, I think like a lot of women, I spent a good portion of my younger years beating myself up for having, not a perfect figure or whatever that is. You're just never good enough, Um, and I think I had some body image issues that I dealt with for many years that I wanted to address. And it was something that I really wanted to get past. And that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to do that bikini competition, in addition to giving the proverbial finger to turning 50. Because I think so many people they're like, oh, I'm 50, it's downhill from here. I'm just like, actually, I don't feel that way. I just don't. And I'm going to prove it to myself by doing this. And so that was really the first step, was, putting myself into that. One of the most petrifying things I could think of to do is, to go into something where I'm going to be on a stage under bright lights in a bikini to be judged. That's like, oh, I mean, just the thought of it was it made my palms sweaty. I was just like, oh, but at the same time, what I've learned is that when something is scary and exciting, it's something I need to do. So
Absolutely.
So that was really a big impetus for me to, to get out of it. I mean, prior to that, as far as, lighting a fire under myself, it was really just going down that self-help path, reading lots of books, getting more into journaling, which I never did before, dabbling at meditating, which I never did before, questioning my spirituality, which I never did before. I mean, there was just a lot of things. I think I just got to that point where it's like, everything I've done up to this point has gotten me here. So if I want to go somewhere else, I can't keep doing the same things. I got to change it up. I've got to do something different. I want different experiences. I want to feel different. How do I feel different? So I just started experimenting and trying different things. And that bikini thing was a huge experiment. But I'll tell you what, after I did that, I felt like, you know what? If I can do that, I can pretty much do anything. I mean,
that's where it is right there. I mean, you set yourself a goal that was very difficult for you personally, internally, you know what I mean? And in your head, right? Because you had all that stuff going around. We all do. And you just said, nope, I'm going to go for it and I'm going to do it. When you did it, I can't imagine the feeling. I mean, I know you're petrified. I can totally understand that, because I would never want that for me. I mean, that sounds weird, but you know what I mean? It would just, that came out wrong, but you know what I mean? I know that it had to be exhilarating and it had to be freeing for you to say, I did this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it was even more interesting is that not only did I do it, but then I did it again the next year. Because here's where my sense of competition comes in, which I have a strong sense of competition. I didn't win anything the first year that I did it. I mean, I really got into some serious shape to do it. But I didn't win anything, and I'm like, I want to win something. And so I went back to the drawing board, and the next year I did it again, and I figured out what I needed to do to be able to place, and it had to do with posing. There's a lot of things that go into doing that, but it was, I finally took home medals from that competition. And it was one of the best parts of the second one for me. I had two women, because when you are involved in these competitions, it's not just bikini, it's like all the bodybuilding. It's men and women. So there's several divisions and weights and heights of everything from, heavy duty Arnold Schwarzenegger bodybuilding stuff to the bikini. So it's like, and everything in between, right? So there's a lot of young, 18, 20-year-old guys and girls, doing these competitions. And so there's parents in the crowd, right, who are supporting their kids and whatever. And after that, I took first place in the over 50 category. And I also took second place and third place in other categories that had nothing to do with age. So I was competing against 20 some year olds and still placing second or third. And I felt really proud of that. But what happened after the competition, I had two mothers who were in their late 40s, early 50s come up to me and they said, "You are such an inspiration to me. I cannot believe that you're doing this and you're 51 years old.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank
wow.
you for doing this. Thank you for showing me that this is possible." And I was just, I mean, I was just bawling. I was like, oh, I mean, but that right there made it all just worthwhile. And that was another big push for me to really want to, grow my business to something bigger too, after seeing that effect on someone and the hope in that woman's eyes. And there's just such a, like you said, there's so many people who are in midlife and they're just stuck. They're just
Yeah.
stuck and they're afraid. And and this is a world where, you can run a business from your basement in your underwear if you want to, because the internet has made it possible for anyone to do really any kind of business that they want. They just have to do it.
Absolutely. And that, I want to find out more about what you do like right now. What are you,
Sure.
what are you into? What are you doing? And how are you helping people?
Well, right now I'm doing primarily one-on-one coaching services with individuals, obviously, and I'm also building out a group coaching program. But again, each one-on-one coaching project, it's a project, is it just depends on what that person wants to work on. But it's typically about just falling in love with yourself. That's really what I do with people. It's help them, get clear on what they want, right? Find, recognize their value and their worth, right?
Wow.
Where society has got such a focus on youth, it's like there's so much value in a mature woman.
Yes.
There just
Oh,
is.
absolutely.
There's just, I could go into all the reasons why. We're also the largest portion of the population, women between the ages
Wow.
of 40 and 65. We're such a powerful force in that
Yeah. I didn't even
population.
know that. That's awesome.
Yeah. And I just recently found that out, but it's like, understanding that they can stop the whole people pleasing thing, the trying to fix other people. There's just so many things that we address. And primarily, I think, to stop pretending that everything is okay when they're really not that pleased with how their life's turned out. So that's really what I work on mostly.
So, I love that. I really do. What do you think the main thing that holds these women back?
They believe that they're not good enough.
I've heard
I
that
just believe that they're not
again.
good enough. They're not enough of something. It comes back to they're not thin enough. They're not smart enough. They're not, they're not able, they're not strong enough. They're not able to say no.
That's a big one. I've heard that before as well.
It's a huge one. And then they become bitter and resentful of the people around them because they don't realize that they have created everything in their life. Honestly, the biggest goal for me is to help anyone I work with. I work with men too, but primarily women, to recognize that you have to take 100% responsibility for all of your life, all of it. It's like you have created those people around you that take advantage of you.
Yep. You've allowed that to happen.
You've allowed it. You've trained them. But you can also retrain them and understand that no is a complete sentence. And you can say it with a smile, and it doesn't make you a bad person. It's like,
no,
I'm sorry,
is a
I just can't.
Complete sentence. I love that. There's so much positive energy that you have. I'm feeling it through the entire show that we've been doing this show. I'm so excited about this right now because I see you as like a trailblazer, a leader in this area, because if you can do it, there's women watching this show right now that have trouble saying no, that have difficulties with their weight, their self-image, their, whatever it is that's holding them back on the inside. What would you say to those women right now?
Girl, make yourself a priority in your life. You are just as valuable as your children, as your husband, as your parents, as your siblings, as your coworkers. It's like you are important. And the thing is, just like that thing, the whole idea of putting the oxygen mask on, yourself first. It's like if you take care of you, then you can be so much more for everyone else around you. But it's like it's like giving themselves permission to be a priority in their own life, because we're all taught to not be selfish. Don't be self-centered. I mean, that was something that I was, taught as a kid. It's like, you're so selfish. It's like,
Learn to
actually,
share.
you actually have to be selfish, but it's not a bad word, because
No.
I am responsible for my own happiness, just like you, Jim, are responsible for yours. I can't make anyone happy. Right?
That's right.
Except, so that's the thing about taking responsibility. It's like, and then we can stop being victims and blaming everybody else. It's like, it all comes from within. And that's the beautiful part of it. You can have, be, or do whatever you want.
Yep.
Once you recognize that, it's just like, oh, I just wanted to shout it from the mountaintops.
I can see that. I love that too. I mean, for me, it's you can either, it is all your choice. It's all your responsibility. Whatever you have in your life is because of what you've done to this point, the choices that you've made, the people that you have in your life, those things. We don't choose our family. So, I mean, there is parts of it that are a little bit out of our control. But when you sit there and you take and put everyone else first and you last, you absolutely have nothing to give anyone else that needs you.
So true. I love that. I can't remember who came up with it, but it's like the idea of a cup and a saucer, right? Yep. So it's like no one can drink from your cup, but they certainly can drink from your saucer, because that's your overflow.
Yes.
But you've got to keep your cup filled. And it is
Absolutely.
very, very true. And so many men and women don't fill their cup. They don't even know what fills their cup. I help them figure out what that is too. It's like, what do you want? You're like, I don't really know. It's like, I never really thought about what I want. It's like, that's when I just shut up. I'm like,
exactly.
What do you think?
There you go. What do you think?
It's like, I'm going to give you an opportunity right now. What do you think you want?
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing to me that people don't really have that conversation in their mind about what they want, because they're always so concerned about what everybody else needs from them.
Yeah,
that they don't slow down and think about themselves.
Yeah. I mean, especially too on this entrepreneurial path that we're on, right? It's like, it's so easy to get caught up and lost in your business. Like right now, because I'm still, I am, because at the beginning of the year, I'm designing my business right now. It's like, how do I want my business to go? And it's like, I'm giving myself permission to design it any way I want. And if that means for me that I'm going to work 3 days a week, right? It's like, and this is one of the things that I've had to overcome. For example, I was in sales for many years, various jobs, and always worked, 8-hour days, 40 hours a week. That's just what you do. That's how you work, right?
Yep.
And now that I've been designing my own business, it's like, it doesn't have to look like that. And it doesn't make me a lazy bum if I decide that I don't want to work 40 hours a week.
Absolutely not. And whoever came up with that rule was dumb in the first place. You have to think.
Same guy with that daylight savings crap.
Oh, I hate that too. And these time zone things drive me nuts too. But we won't go into all that because I can't. I deal with people all around the world. So Australia's really strange. I know New Zealand. I've had a person out from New Zealand, Australia, UK. California drives me nuts for some reason, and I don't know why, but I can never figure it out. I don't know what it is, but I'm dealing with time zones all the time because I talk to different people almost every day. And so it's hard to keep them all straight for me. So that's another complaint. But anyway, we'll stop that right now.
No worries. It's all good. But have you been to California?
No, I want to go.
Got to come out. You're going to change your ideas about California. You're going to love it.
Oh, no. It isn't anything bad about that. I just can't remember the time zone difference for something. It's 3 hours, but for some reason I can't figure it out. And it's probably because I deal with Australian time, which is totally bizarre because I think it's like the next day there right now or something.
It is. I think, I don't know how many hours, but it's
Crazy.
a different day for sure.
Yeah, it's always seems to be a different day, and then it's opposite. Like it'd be their morning right now,
Absolutely.
the next day or something. Anyway, we got way off track. That was that was my
It's okay. It's a conversation.
But if I was going to ask you, how do you get into coaching? Like, if somebody wanted to do what you do, how would you get into that? How do you? I mean, I know you can just get a client and do it, but how do you set it up as a business?
There's really not that much to do to set it up. I mean, you probably, obviously want to have a computer, but you don't really even need that. You could just do it with a phone. But it's how do you, to get started? I mean, I think it's like you just have to decide it's something that you want to do.
Yeah.
And if you want to be serious about it, I mean, I think it is a good idea to become certified, although it is not a requirement. It is not required. In fact, I coached probably a dozen people before I became certified. And I know in the beginning when I was doing it, it's like I was working just on my intuition, just going by my gut. It's like, does this feel right? Does that feel right? And it's like I just listened really well and asked questions, and everyone seemed to have their own form of transformation and growth and working with me, and we're happy, and it was all great. And then I got into my own head thinking, probably should be certified. I probably ought to get certified. It's like, what do I not, I'm sure there's stuff I don't know, and so I went and got certified, and it was a great program. I'm really happy that I went through it, but it did throw a monkey wrench into my coaching for about a year after I did it, because I was like, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? And I started questioning myself. And it's just like, so what I ended up doing finally is I took what I needed, I left the rest behind. And what that helped me do was design the business and understand how to, develop a marketing program, to actually try and grow it, some sort of a business plan and all of that. But really, just to get started, you have to decide that this is something you want. And you got to go out and start talking to people about it. Make yourself a business card, get a free business card. It doesn't matter. And just try it. Just try it. You're not going to hurt anybody if you're coming at it from a place of service and caring about people and just genuine interest in people. You're going to help somebody, and you're going to find out if it's something that you really are drawn to or not, if you're something that you're good at or not. But I don't think there's a whole lot of setup to do. I think it's just a decision to take the first step of saying, I think I'm a life coach. I'm going to try coaching. And then you'll just, like I said, going and talking with friends and maybe just coaching a few people for free, just to get a feel for it. And then once, if you find that it's something that you like and you enjoy it, and it brings, you feel like, for me, I knew it was right because I could do it all day and not even eat. And there's not a lot of things that don't allow me to eat, but I never get bored with it. And I'm so, excited to do it. I know it's right. And you'll get that feeling when you find something that when you're following your joy. Right?
Yeah. When you find something that clicks with you, it's not work. And I work a lot. I really do. But it's like, I'll just sit down and I'll start doing stuff, and I don't have any idea what time it is, I just keep going, how that goes.
That never happened to me at any job I've ever held other than
this. Me neither. I've always looked at the clock like, oh my God, it looks like the same thing I looked at last time.
And how many hours did you really work in that job anyways? I mean, when you think about it, it's like,
probably not as many as they wanted me to. Oh, that's okay. I don't work there anymore, so I'm good. But okay, so we've got, you have coaching, one-on-one coaching. Anything else out or coming out?
Oh, well, actually, I just wrote a book last October. It's actually called This Time It's About You. And it's really just about my own journey of waking up in my life and, starting to figure out what the heck is going on and what do I want. And it's really kind of like, it chronicles like my youth, just so you can see where I came from. And then all my discoveries and my aha moments that came after I started becoming a seeker in my own life. And I think it actually is it's not very long. It's 240 pages or something like that, but it's a really good start for someone to read, I think, if they're just starting into a self-help journey for themselves. It's kind of a little bit of everything. And it's just, I'm not an authority on anything other than my own life. So I talk about what I know and what I learned and what worked for me. And yeah, that just came out last October. And I'm really proud of it. I'm glad that I did it. It was something I wanted to do for many years, but and the way that I did it, just so you know, the way I do really anything in my life is I joined a coaching group that was writing a book. A woman that I knew had written a book before, joined that group, paid some money to be a part of it, enough money that I showed up to do it. And I honestly know that I never would have written that book without being a part of that writing group. And it was just 5 women, but we're all together weekly on a video call to support each other and birth our baby books and put them out there. So yeah, I got the book out. I'm also just about ready to start holding my signature workshops here in the desert communities. I'm going to start holding monthly workshops because I really want to build community out here, a circle of women that support each other. And I know online businesses or online groups rather are great, and I'm a member of several of them, and they're great, but I really crave in-person connection. And I thought, well, I'm going to build a group out here then that meets in person once a month, or create these workshops where people can come together with the same intention to learn and grow. And that's also a way for people to get a taste of what the coaching process is like, so they can dip their toe in without having to commit. But more than it's really, honestly, it's for me. I just want to meet people in person. I want to. Yeah,
and you live in an area where you can actually go outside 6 months out of the year. I mean, more than 6 months out of the year.
Well,
I'm just kidding. No, you live in the perfect spot for that, though. It's just perfect. Everything you've designed for yourself seems to be just congruent with who you are. I love that. I really do.
It really is. And I am so blessed with my life. I mean, I just cannot believe how things have just fallen into place. But then again, it's like, I know I'm the creator of my life, and I have been intentionally writing and talking about what it is that I want. And it's just like the universe is just dropping stuff into place. And I'm just like, yes, more of this. It's just like,
more of this. Yes.
It's like, okay.
No, that's awesome. It is awesome. Your energy is amazing. And I think it's contagious. I really do.
Oh, I do. Thank you. I'm not just like this on a podcast. I'm really like this.
No, I know you are. I can tell. This isn't for the show. This is her.
Yeah.
And it's great though, because if you didn't have that, you wouldn't have had the motivation. You wouldn't have had all the stick-to-itiveness to get to where you are right now.
Well, I think that more than anything else, to be able to have your own business, you have to believe that it's possible, and you have to imagine what it would be like to get what you want. And this is obviously a giant chunk of what they talk about in law of attraction stuff, but I'm telling you, it totally works. And it's so much more fun to go through the process if you allow yourself to get excited about how it's going to be when you're making $1 million. I mean, who is that hurting to sit and think about how awesome your life would be if you made $1 million? It's like, okay, I'll sit and think about that for 15, 20 minutes for all day.
Like, I can think about that all day.
Twist my arm.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I mean, really, that's the key. I think, for anyone who's building a business, it's like, if you don't take 15 or so minutes a day to sit, and I don't mean meditate, I mean sit and think about what you want. That's without awesome. Saying, I really want that Tesla, but it's too expensive. You just cancel that all out. You just have to say, I want that Tesla. And just be in it, and just feel it.
That energy. Definitely.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, and then stuff just starts lining up for you. I mean, I really believe that.
So I'm going to let you have the floor for the last little part of the show.
Okay.
And I want you to just say whatever's on your heart, but whatever you want to specifically say to the people that are watching this.
I want to say, just believe that it's possible. I mean, that's the very first step. Just believe that it's possible. Walk into the bathroom right now, look at yourself in the mirror, put a big smile on your face, and say, I'm worth a shot. Why not? Let's give this a shot. I think that's really it. I mean, that's what's on my heart without a doubt. I just give yourself a shot. Bet on you. I mean, I say this a million times a day. It's like, what's the worst thing that can happen? What's the best thing that can happen? Right? It's like, at least and you get a chance, and the last thing too, it's like, nobody else cares what you're doing because they're focused on themselves. Trust me. So just go for it. That's all.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
Everybody that's listening to this, I appreciate you. I appreciate you listening to the show. I want to thank my guest today. Oh my God, what a good show this was. Holy cow. There's just so much in this, so much energy that was so positive, and I think people are going to feel that when they watch this. So I really appreciate you, Julie. I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, Jim, thank you so much. It was totally my pleasure, and I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to your tribe. And
Yes.
I wish you continued success.
Thank you very much. Okay, everybody, click the subscribe button down below, and the links to everything that Julie has for you is going to be down below. And I just wish you a happy, happy day.